When your political consensus is to like tie some people up, then the terms of reference will be designed according to that. So what is required is to understand and appreciate that a nation of nationalities requires a far more constructive approach, a far more federal approach, and a far more appreciation of the needs of the state, and not only the needs of the state, that the union itself depends on the strength of the states, and that consensus were to come about. And I'm not saying that that consensus was somehow there and it's lost. It's always been a contested, but we had all come to some consensus, some form of a compromise, rather, not consensus, some compromise. But this effort to reset that compromise to the detriment of states like Karnataka is not in the interest of all, in my view. Now, the last point I want to mention is that, again, now I withdraw from the fiscal federalism issue to a federalism issue. Now, I've been saying this for about 3, 4, 5 years, but maybe I'm not right, hence there is not much resonance to what I've been saying. The union government over the last 7, 8 years has taken several decisions which, as I've said, has basically reset the terms of arrangement between the union and center, has reset some of the consensus that prevailed, some of the compromise that prevailed, and has changed the rules of the game through its various terms of reference. One of that is population. I promised you I will not speak about population, but now I'm speaking about population in a different context. Now, in this country, we had a consensus that not the absolute population, as some of the experts will indicate, has always been factored in by the finance commissions. But the ratio of population was frozen in the year 1971 census. Why? Because subsequently some states made extraordinary efforts in the national interest to control population. The consensus was that those states should not be punished for controlling the population, and the states which didn't make much effort for not controlling the population should not be rewarded. This was the consensus that prevailed from 1971 till 2016 through various decisions of the parliament, some of the acts of the parliament, but this was reset. Now we are going with a more recent population ratio. Again, I'm not speaking about this issue in the fiscal context, I'm speaking about it in the federal context. Now, this consensus has been now reset. The consensus is broken. There is a new formula on which we are working, which is the current population distribution across states. Now, very soon, we have to take a decision on delimitation of seats. And we have, in the parliament, we have heard that there are talks to increase the strength of the parliament to about 600 and carve out parliamentary constituencies uniformly across the country on a population. What does it mean? It means like that basically states like Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, perhaps Andhra, perhaps Telangana, all these states will lose their proportionate representation in parliament, relative representation in parliament. What exactly do I mean? There is a very clever way of working this. Every state will more or less see increase in the number of parliamentary seats. Even Karnataka will see. We will see an increase from 28 to maybe 29%. The southern states are likely to see an increase of about 6% or 4% by one calculation. But some of the other states will see an increase in their MP seats by about 36 to 40%. So when that happens, commission terms of reference, the precedence has been set. The same precedence will be extended to the next delimitation exercise. So far, the union government has not said that we will not do it. And if that goes through, many of the states in different part of the country will see a huge increase in their representation in parliament proportionately, and the southern states will see a relative drop of their strength in the parliament, and we will truly become voiceless or with a reduced voice. And already with existing ratio of representation in parliament, most of the southern states are losing out fiscal devolution. And if we further lose our voice in the parliament, I cannot imagine what else we will lose, not just fiscally. So these are some of the concerns that are playing on the minds of people like me and our government. Of course, you might ask, what's your, push comes to shove, what are you going to do? Of course, we have to live, we have to survive, we have to grow. We may learn to adapt, but this is definitely not in the interest of federalism. This is a deconstruction of federalism, and that's not in anybody's interest. What happens to the future of Karnataka? Of course, our Honorable Chief Minister is there, there are intelligent people. We have to find a way. We have to find a way. Maybe, we have to compromise on a few things. Maybe we can't realize the full development of our human development capacity. There will be some checks and balances, but we will still try to find a way through these challenges. But such a path of deconstructing federalism is not in the interest of the union, not in the interest of anybody, and we should not go down that road. We should take a more constructive approach, and we must strengthen the states without losing anything in the center's domain. And I'm sure that can be worked out if there is, political will to do that. And I hope the current dispensation, this idea will dawn on them, and they will do a course correction where we can all work together for a stronger India. Thank you. Sorry, I took a lot more than I wanted to take time-wise, and I apologize for that to the organizers and to the panel and also to the audience for the lot of extra time I've taken.